Have you ever wondered why ignorance is often referred to as bliss? It's a question that invites us to delve deeper into the cozy confines of our minds. You see, ignorance in many ways is a comfortable darkness. It's like a warm, velvet blanket that wraps around us, shielding us from the harsh, biting winds of reality. It's a place where we can hide from the unknown, from the discomfort of uncertainty, and from the potential pain of unpleasant truths. Take a moment and think about the last time you chose not to read the nutrition label on a package of your favorite cookies. Was it because you didn't want to know how many calories were in each bite, or how much sugar was packed into every delicious morsel? Or consider those times when you've ignored the news because the headlines were just too depressing. These are just a few examples of how we often choose ignorance over knowledge. We choose this comfortable darkness because it's easier, less challenging. It allows us to navigate our lives with a sense of blissful unawareness. It's like walking through a dark room with our eyes closed. We don't have to see the obstacles, we don't have to acknowledge the mess, and we certainly don't have to deal with the complexities that come with awareness. But as comforting as this darkness may be, it's also limiting. It confines us within a small, familiar world, preventing us from exploring the vast expanse of possibilities that lie beyond our current understanding. It keeps us stuck in a state of inertia, unable to move forward, unable to grow. This comfortable darkness, this ignorance, is a choice. It's a choice we make when we decide to close our eyes to the world around us, when we choose not to question, not to seek, not to learn. It's a choice that provides temporary comfort, but ultimately, it's a choice that holds us back. But what happens when that comfortable darkness is illuminated by the light of knowledge? What if we decide to pull back the curtain, to step out of the shadows, and to embrace the brilliant, dazzling light of understanding? The journey may not be easy, but the transformation that awaits is profound. Picture this: a man, let's call him John, comfortable in his ignorance, until one day, a spark of curiosity changes everything. John was a man of simple pleasures. He lived a life unburdened by the complexities of the world, blissfully unaware of the vast universe of knowledge that lay beyond his small-town existence. His days were predictable, his routines unchanging. He was content in his ignorance, for it was all he had ever known. But then, one day, something changed. A simple event, a random encounter, triggered a spark of curiosity in John. He found a book, old and dusty, forgotten in the attic of his grandmother's house. It was a book of world history, filled with tales of ancient civilizations, heroic battles, and cultural revolutions. John, who had never ventured beyond the boundaries of his small town, was suddenly introduced to a world much bigger than he had ever imagined. This revelation was like a bolt of lightning, illuminating the darkness of his ignorance. It was overwhelming, yes, but it was also exciting. It was as if a veil had been lifted from his eyes, revealing a landscape filled with endless possibilities. He realized that there was so much he didn't know, so much he had yet to learn. And so John embarked on a journey from darkness to light. He started reading voraciously, exploring different subjects, and questioning everything he thought he knew. He sought to understand the world, to grasp its complexities, and to uncover its mysteries. The more he learned, the more he realized how little he actually knew. But rather than discourage him, this realization fueled his desire to learn even more. His ignorance, once a comfortable blanket, now felt like a chain holding him back. He was no longer content to live in the dark. He yearned for the light of knowledge. John's life was forever changed when he stepped out of his comfort zone and embraced the light of knowledge. He realized that ignorance wasn't bliss, but a self-imposed prison. And the key to freedom? It was knowledge, the beacon that guided him out of the darkness and into the light. So how did John's transformation from ignorance to knowledge manifest itself, you may wonder? Well, it was as though a veil had been lifted from his eyes. His journey from ignorance to knowledge was not one that happened overnight. It was a gradual process, like a seedling sprouting and growing into a mighty tree. As John began to acquire knowledge, he became more empathetic. He began to understand the feelings and emotions of others. His heart started to resonate with the joys and sorrows of people around him, creating a bridge of understanding and compassion. He began to see the world not just through his eyes, but through the eyes of others. Knowledge also made John less judgmental. He realized that every person has a unique story, a unique journey. He understood that it was not his place to pass judgment, but to listen, to understand, and to learn. His once narrow mind broadened, allowing him to see the world in a myriad of colors. rather than just black and white. As John's knowledge expanded, so did his open-mindedness. He started to question everything, not out of skepticism, but out of a thirst to understand more. He began to see the beauty and diversity in the different opinions, cultures, and beliefs that make up our world. He understood that knowledge was not about conforming, but about exploring, questioning, and understanding. Furthermore, knowledge made John more understanding. He realized that everyone is fighting their own battles, some visible, some not. He learned to appreciate the struggles and triumphs of others and to offer his support and understanding. In essence, knowledge did not just alter John's perspective, it shattered his old worldview and replaced it with a more compassionate, understanding, and open-minded outlook. He began to see the world not as a battlefield, but as a classroom, a place to learn, grow, and understand. Knowledge did not just alter John's perspective, it transformed his entire life. What does the power of knowledge truly mean? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? Knowledge, in its purest form, has the ability to transform lives and shape societies. It's like a beacon in the night, guiding us through the storm of confusion and mistrust that often clouds our judgment. Let's take a moment to examine the profound impact knowledge can have on our lives. Imagine you're trapped in a cave of prejudices, biases, and selfishness. These are the shackles that bind you, preventing you from seeing the world in its true form. Knowledge, then, is the key that unlocks these chains, freeing you from the confines of your own misconceptions. As you step out of this cave, you're met with the brilliance of truth, a light so bright that it banishes the shadows of ignorance. It's a liberating experience, one that allows you to see the world for what it truly is, unclouded by prejudice or bias. This is the power of knowledge. It has the ability to change your perspective, to alter the way you perceive the world around you. But the power of knowledge doesn't stop at personal growth. It extends far beyond the individual, influencing societal progress. Think about the great minds of our time. Their thirst for knowledge led to groundbreaking discoveries, innovations that have shaped the world as we know it today. The wheel, electricity, the internet, all products of knowledge, all catalysts for progress. Knowledge, however, is not something that can be hoarded. It's meant to be shared, to be passed down from generation to generation. It's a tool for empowerment, a means of lifting others out of the darkness of ignorance. So let's strive to seek knowledge, to quench our thirst for understanding. Let's use it as a tool to break down barriers, to foster empathy and understanding. Let's harness the power of knowledge to create a future where prejudice and bias have no place, a world where truth and understanding reign supreme. True knowledge has the power to lift the veil of ignorance and illuminate the path to a better world. The question then arises, how can we, like John, step out of our comfortable darkness and seek the light of knowledge? Embarking on this journey necessitates a burning curiosity, a thirst for understanding that extends beyond the boundaries of our current knowledge. It's about asking questions, the kind of questions that make us pause, ponder, and perhaps even challenge the status quo. It's about not just accepting things as they are, but digging deeper, peering beneath the surface and searching for the truth that lies beneath. But curiosity alone is not enough. We must also arm ourselves with open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is the willingness to consider new and differing ideas, the flexibility to adapt our perspectives in light of new information. It's about allowing our beliefs to be challenged and being willing to change them if they don't hold up to scrutiny. It's about understanding that our view of the world is not the only one, and that there is always something more to learn. Most importantly, the path to acquiring knowledge requires a willingness to challenge our own beliefs. This might seem daunting, even uncomfortable. We are, after all, creatures of habit, and it's easy to cling to the familiar, to the beliefs and ideas that we've held on to for so long. But remember, it is only by stepping out of our comfort zone, by challenging our own assumptions and biases, that we can truly grow, learn, and acquire true knowledge. This journey might not be easy. It might require us to confront our own ignorance, to admit that we don't know everything. It might require us to be humble, to accept that we might be wrong. But the rewards of this journey are immense. The light of knowledge can lift the darkness of ignorance, allowing us to rise above our selfishness, redeem our sins, and transform our suffering into joy. The journey from ignorance to knowledge may not always be comfortable, but it is always worth it. Step out of the darkness and into the light.